Flower Mound police are accusing a North Texas TikTok star of trying to kill his girlfriend. Their affidavit says Ladarius Brownlee confessed after he got into a heated argument with Zahra Hashemi that ended with him shooting her in the head. She has survived and is in critical condition.
Actually hitting me, stop.
My friend was shot. My friend was shot. I don't know where. Okay. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Is that here in Flower Mound? Yes. Okay. What is the address? Yes. I don't know.
They had over 150,000 followers, millions of views, a joint TikTok account, a love story playing out in real time for the whole internet to watch. They called themselves Deno and Zahra, funny videos, couple pranks, the kind of content that makes strangers root for two people they have never met. But somewhere in those thousands of clips, there were warning signs, a chokehold, a woman saying on camera, "I do not like you," a boyfriend telling her to go to sleep. Nobody thought much of it at the time. It was just content, just a couple being a couple. Then came the 4th of July, 2024. Fireworks lit up the sky over Flower Mound, Texas. A festival, a crowd, a couple walking home together after the show, just like thousands of other couples that night. Except this walk ended in an argument. That argument followed them into a car. And less than 3 miles down the road, that car came to a stop in the middle of the street. By 12:49 in the morning, police were on scene. A woman was lying in the westbound lanes of Flower Mound Road, a gunshot wound, above the right eye. The man who filmed thousands of hours of their relationship for the internet was the same man police say pulled the trigger. This is the story of Zahra Hashemi, what happened to her, what her boyfriend told police, and what happened and did not happen in the years since. If you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because true crime cases like this one deserve to be followed all the way through, not forgotten after the headlines fade. Before any of this, Zahra Hashemi was 28 years old, living in Double Oak, Texas, a small community just outside Flower Mound in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Publicly, most people knew her one way, through a screen. Through a TikTok account, Deno Zahra, that she shared with her boyfriend Ladarius Brownlee, who went by Deno online. Together, they built something big. Over 150,000 followers, videos that racked up millions of views. To the outside world, they looked like any other young couple chasing internet fame, filming their daily lives, their inside jokes, their relationship. That is the tricky thing about being TikTok famous. People feel like they know you. They watch you laugh, watch you argue, watch you make up, and they think they're watching the whole story. They usually are not. After the shooting, people went back through the couple's old videos looking for clues, and some of what they found was unsettling. In one clip, Brownlee is seen putting Hashemi in a chokehold as she tells him, "I do not like you." In another, the two are arguing, with Hashemi saying he had woken up grumpy that day. Taken alone, moments like that can look like ordinary couple friction. Looked at afterward, through the lens of what happened next, they read very differently to a lot of viewers. What we do not know, and will not pretend to know, is what Zahra Hashemi was like off camera. Her private hopes, her friendships, her day-to-day life outside the relationship that made her famous. What we do know is this. On the night of July 4th, 2024, she was a 28-year-old woman walking home from a fireworks show with her boyfriend, and within hours, she would be fighting for her life. Let's walk through what happened, step by step, based on the probable cause affidavit and statements from Flower Mound police. It is the night of July 4th, 2024. Independence Fest is happening at Bakersfield Park in Flower Mound, Texas. Fireworks, crowds. A classic small town 4th of July. Ladarius Brownlee and Zahra Hashemi are there together. At some point that night, the mood shifts. As they are walking home from the festival, the two get into what police describe as a heated argument. It does not stay verbal. According to the affidavit, the fight turns physical. The night does not end there. The argument continues into a vehicle, a black 2024 Chevrolet Blazer SUV with Brownlee behind the wheel. Hashemi is ordered into the back seat. There are other occupants in the car too, people who would later become witnesses. As Brownlee drives, the argument keeps going. Passengers in the back would later tell officers that Hashemi and Brownlee continued arguing the entire time the SUV was moving away from the park. Then, according to police, Brownlee brandishes a firearm at the passengers in the back seat. Less than 3 miles from where the fireworks had just lit up the sky, Brownlee stops the SUV in the roadway. He pulls a tan Glock handgun from the driver's side door pocket, and he shoots Zahra Hashemi above her right eye. It is now closing in on 1 a.m, July 5th. A 911 call comes in. At 12:49 a.m., Flower Mound police officers arrive at the 1800 block of Flower Mound Road. What they find is devastating. A woman lying outside a stationary vehicle in the westbound lanes of traffic. A gunshot wound, life-threatening injuries. Flower Mound Fire Department rushes her to Baylor Scott and White Medical Center in Grapevine. Brownlee does not flee. He is still at the scene when officers arrive. He is taken into custody without incident, and according to the affidavit, he does not deny it. Police say Brownlee confessed on the 911 call itself and again to investigators to shooting Hashemi. A quiet neighborhood, a festival crowd walking home, a car stopped in the middle of the road, and a young woman fighting for her life on the pavement. That is how the night ended. So who is Ladarius Brownlee? 28 years old. From North Lake, Texas, another small community in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Online, he was known as Deno, one half of the viral TikTok duo that had turned his relationship with Zahra Hashemi into content watched by millions. To followers, Brownlee's persona was easygoing, funny, affectionate, the guy filming his girlfriend, mugging for the camera, building a brand out of coupledom. But police were not looking at a TikTok persona. They were looking at a crime scene. Immediately after the shooting, Brownlee was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Denton County jail records show he also faced 3 additional counts of deadly conduct for discharging a firearm. His bond was set at $900,000, and he remained in custody as the investigation continued. Now here is where the case gets complicated, because the story police initially laid out and the story Brownlee's defense would eventually tell do not fully match. The probable cause affidavit paints a picture of escalation, a heated argument at the festival, a physical fight. Hashemi ordered into the back seat of the SUV, the argument continuing as Brownlee drove. A firearm allegedly brandished at other passengers, then a deliberate stop in the middle of the road. Followed by Brownlee retrieving a gun from the door pocket and shooting Hashemi above the eye. That is not a picture of a random accident. That is a picture, according to police, of a night that spiraled from an argument into an act of violence, carried out with an actual gun, in front of witnesses. So what was the motive? Officially, prosecutors did not have to prove a why to bring charges. Texas law does not require establishing motive for an aggravated assault charge. But circumstantially, the affidavit points toward a relationship that had turned volatile that night, a couple fighting, physically, after leaving a festival, with the fight following them into a moving vehicle and escalating from there. And then there are those old TikTok videos the internet dug up after the arrest. A chokehold, caught on camera, with Hashemi telling Brownlee, "I do not like you," while he tells her to go to sleep. An argument video where Hashemi says he had woken up grumpy. None of those clips are proof of what happened that night. But to a lot of viewers, they reframed a cute couple account into something that looked, in hindsight, like a relationship with a pattern. Here is the twist in how Brownlee's side would eventually tell it. His defense would later argue the shooting was not intentional violence at all, that it was a tragic accident, a gun that discharged unexpectedly as the couple were leaving the fireworks show, striking Hashemi by chance rather than by choice. That accident framing stands in real tension with an affidavit describing a stopped vehicle, a weapon deliberately pulled from a door pocket, and a shot fired above someone's eye after an ongoing physical argument. 2 very different stories. One says, a man in the middle of a fight pulled a gun and shot his girlfriend. The other says, a horrible split-second accident, no different than any of the tragic unintentional shootings that happen every year. Only one of those stories ultimately mattered in court, and we will get to how that played out. But it is worth sitting with the gap between them. Because in a lot of domestic violence cases, that gap, between what a victim and witnesses describe in the immediate aftermath and what gets negotiated down in a courtroom months or years later, is where a lot of public frustration with the justice system comes from. Before we get into how this case ended, if this story is affecting you the way it's affecting us, drop a comment and let us know your thoughts, and consider subscribing so you don't miss how similar cases turn out. Here is where this case takes a turn a lot of viewers did not see coming. Ladarius Brownlee did not go to trial. He pleaded guilty, but not to a violent, intentional shooting. His plea rested on the claim that the shooting was accidental, that the gun discharged without him meaning to fire it, striking Hashemi in the head as the couple were leaving the fireworks that night. A Denton County judge sentenced him to 10 years of probation. 10 years of probation, not prison time. For a shooting that left a woman with a gunshot wound above her right eye, found lying in the middle of a road, rushed to a hospital with life-threatening injuries. For a lot of true crime viewers, and honestly, for a lot of domestic violence advocates, that outcome is the real twist of this story. Not a shocking new suspect, not a hidden accomplice, but a case that started with an affidavit describing brandished weapons and an escalating physical fight, and ended with a plea deal built around the word accident. There is another twist too, one that might be even harder for some viewers to sit with. According to Brownlee's own attorney, the couple is still together. Zahra Hashemi survived a gunshot wound to the head. She and the man charged in that shooting are, by his lawyer's account, still a couple. That detail alone has fueled enormous conversation online. TikTok and YouTube pages dedicated entirely to tracking updates on Deno and Zahra, with viewers publicly hopping Hashemi finds the strength to walk away, and others simply trying to understand how a relationship survives something like this. There is no public statement from Hashemi herself laying out her side, her reasoning, or her state of mind. And that silence is part of what makes this case so unsettling to outside observers. We are left watching the outline of a very serious, very public criminal case, without hearing directly from the one person who lived through the worst moment of it. So where does this case actually stand today? Ladarius Brownlee pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 10 years of probation by a Denton County judge. He is not in prison. The case, from a legal standpoint, is closed. Zahra Hashemi survived. She was shot above the right eye and rushed to Baylor Scott and White Medical Center in Grapevine with life-threatening injuries, and she lived. That, on its own, is not nothing. Survivors of gunshot wounds to the head often face years of physical and emotional recovery that never make it into a news headline. But survived and justice was served are not automatically the same thing. And that is exactly the debate playing out across true crime and domestic violence communities right now. On one side, people who point out that Brownlee never fled, that he called 911 himself, that his plea reflects an accidental shooting rather than a deliberate attack, and that 10 years of probation still comes with real, enforceable conditions and consequences if violated. On the other side, people who look at the original affidavit, the brandished weapon, the stopped vehicle, the gun pulled from a door pocket, the shot fired above her eye after a physical fight, and see a probation sentence as a system failing a survivor. Both of those reactions are valid to have. This case sits in a genuinely uncomfortable middle ground. Enough public record to know exactly what officers found that night, and enough legal ambiguity in the accidental plea to leave a lot of unanswered questions about intent. What is not ambiguous is this. A 28-year-old woman went to a fireworks show with her boyfriend, and hours later was lying in the middle of a road with a gunshot wound. However you weigh the legal outcome, that fact does not change. If you are watching this and you, or someone you know, is in a relationship that does not feel safe, please know that domestic violence rarely looks like strangers expect it to. It can look like a viral TikTok account. It can look like a cute couple. It can look like laughter on camera and something very different behind closed doors. If that is your situation, please reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline or a trusted person in your life. You deserve to be safe. This case is still generating conversation, still being tracked by true crime communities online, and as far as public reporting shows, the relationship between Brownlee and Hashemi has continued since his sentencing. Whether that changes in the future is something only time will tell. Zahra Hashemi did not ask to become a headline. She built a life and a following out of sharing her relationship with the world, and instead, the world watched her survive one of its worst nights. Wherever her recovery has taken her since, we hope it has led her somewhere safe. What do you think really happened that night? An accident or something else? And do you believe justice was served here? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want us to keep following cases like this one all the way to their conclusion, make sure you are subscribed, because this story might not be over yet.